So let's go ahead and add the Bluetooth. So we can do add blue, the wildcard, HM10, that's our guy. There are two versions, one that is vertical and one that's right angle. We want the right angle one. Let's add a ground. I'm going to copy it because I see it right here. And then our 3.3 volts. And then make those connections. We need to only connect RX and TX on this guy. And let's go ahead and label those now. So same settings, connect. So let's go look at the microcontroller, and we got to find our RX and TX pins. So TX here, RX. And when we do TX and RX, there's no hard rule, but the convention I follow is I leave the TX and RX correctly aligned on the microcontroller. And since the 18Tiny doesn't have a dedicated hardware UART, it won't have a TX RX in its pin properties here. So we're going to use the software one, which is what we have been doing in the past when we played with the hardware in previous modules. So here, the TX doesn't align with TX. The TX has to talk to the RX on the ATtiny, and the TX on the ATtiny has to talk to the RX on the Bluetooth. So let's name this one RX, so that RX on the ATtiny is connected to the TX here, and this one TX such that the transmitter on the ATtiny is talking to the RX on the Bluetooth. That's all we have to do for this guy. Let's go ahead and make those walls again. Move everything down here a couple so I can fit the text in. I'll call it Bluetooth. Now let's do the AVR ISP header. So we should be able to type AVR wildcard. Here we are. This guy. Let's fire this guy up. So we want to connect master in, slave out, serial clock, the reset, ground, master out, slave in, but we don't want to connect VCC. It'll just be our responsibility for externally powering our ATtiny when we program it. Alright, so we need a 10K pull-up resistor to our reset, and we're going to do an 0805 surface mount resistor, 1/8 watt, 5%. Go add some labels to these guys. To rotate it, just right click or double push on the touchpad. Oh, not our ground though. So let's add our ground. You gotta name this MOSI, name this SCK, name this MISO, and then connect this to our pull-up. Our pull-up goes to the 3.3 volts. We need a label for our reset to make those appropriate connections. Good, and they should be connected to, I made a small mistake. So MISO is actually named TX and SCK is named RX. This one is actually TX and this one is RX. Double check. MISO TX, serial clock RX, serial clock RX. Good, so we'll be fine. Let's move these guys over. Let's get our box. And we're going to call this our AVR in system programmer. Good.